Oh my goodness, Therese. Thank you so much. That's so lovely. I saw that just as I was coming. Aw. Come on.
Something strange happened to me this morning.
Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you?
No.
Why am I the only person that has that dream?
Michigan gave us Motan.
All right, let's get started. Let's start the show because I'm excited just to be back in the home studio. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you, Therese, again for that super chat. I saw that as I was setting up, and that's so lovely. What a great, your ongoing support is lovely, and I greatly appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who shows up and supports both financially in any way that they can, and also with their eyeballs and their sharingness. Thanks so much for that. All right, so there's a lot to cover right now. But there are, there's some phrases, some little words that have been bandied about over the last couple of years. Phrases like cancel culture. You know what I mean? They've been thrown, which one side was soundly against until they started doing it. In which case they're like, well, there's in some cases you just fucking gotta, right? So there are a lot of similar phrases like that. It's just there's this weird kind of Trumpization of language. And by the way, hi chat room. Let's see if my buttons all work. They do. Hi, there you are. A lot of like BS nifty little phrases that they use. Howdy. And, it's not surprising when they get inverted hypocritically and used by the very side that came up with them in the first place. Today we're seeing sort of I don't know if it's two snakes facing each other, but they're one, or if it's the snake eating its own tail, or if it's a human centipede. I don't know. All I know is that, well, I'll show you. Here's this Jimmy Dore has a... This is, no, I'm not using the new computer yet, Dragon X Flyer. This is and I still have the cat cam screen on. It's a little green blob on the side there because I pushed that button by mistake. It's okay. Hi. This is Jimmy Dore's channel. And he's calling Laura Loomer and Ben Shapiro snowflakes. Yeah. Now, snowflakes is, started out as a right-wing word. And the idea was twofold. One, that people on the left think they are precious and unique. They're one of a kind. There are no two snowflakes alike. And they're delicate and melt at the first sign of any kind of, just by breathing on them, they melt. Right? That's the twofold insult of the phrase, of the word snowflake. And in the case of most right-wingers that we deal with on the show, that a good portion of them snowflake the fuck out all the time. They just, when they do it, it's, when Glenn Beck has a meltdown, when he snowflakes, then we're supposed to, it's just, well, because he's really mad. He's really upset about something. Everybody else, if they get upset about something, they're either overwhelmed with anger and can't control their emotions, or they're a snowflake, right? That's okay. So, this is And I'm curious about the nature of this. And we may not even watch the whole video because why the fuck torture yourself? But this is, again, the journey, the obvious sign that Jimmy Dore is a full-on right-winger is and I mean that in the authoritarian sense. And the authoritarian sense where, like, the Nazis called themselves National Socialists, but I'd hardly call them left-wing. But they use socialist in their name. So doesn't that automatically mean they're left-leaning? No, it doesn't. There are apparently values deeper than just using the fucking label. And we see a similar thing. Am I calling Jimmy Dore a Nazi? No, because literally no one would look at him and go, specimen. So, they also use nationalist, and we're only for blood Germans, not people who lived in the nation of Germany who identified as Germans and believed in the right. Like, even if you believed in the Third Reich and you were, Jewish or fucking Irish or Scottish or Indian, it didn't matter. They wouldn't consider you the same. So even the nationalist thing is, so yeah, blood and soil, all that stuff. The little hints that Trump goes in. This one's titled Free Speech Warriors. I'll rise this up so you can see the label. Free speech warriors turn into snowflakes over Palestine. Okay, first of all, there are Palestinian territories for people who identify as Palestinians, but there is no Palestine. Palestine, the name of Palestine was an area that included parts of Lebanon and Egypt and all of the area of current Israel. And it's a name that the Romans gave the area. Just for the record, we'll get into that. But again, there is no Palestine. The idea that there's going to be a two-state solution, there will be a Palestine someday, is, I think there's value in working towards that. But it doesn't exist now, and it never has existed. Not in the terms of these people are Palestinians and everybody ain't, right? Because at that point, all the Jews, all the Christians, everybody in that area were Palestinians. Because it was like Americans aren't one religion. It's an area, right? Okay. So, but this isn't about that. This isn't about history. This is about, oddly, Jimmy Dore apparently feeling slightly betrayed by Ben Shapiro and Laura Loomer. Two people who, for the record, I fucking can't stand. But I guess he's all broken up about it.
Kim Iverson did a great segment on this, and I wanted to check. So there's all the people.
Oh, now, okay, so we're back to, right out of the gate, we're back to Jimmy playing other people's content and then just going, and that's his show. Look, it's one thing to put something up there, break it down, conflict with it, even putting up something like a statement by the president and watching it happen and having a statement afterwards, or watching the whole thing unexpurgated if you feel that way. But Jimmy literally just fucking, it's the Hamas, it's the Hassan Abi, quite frankly, methodology. Because that's what Hassan does too. He just takes other people's content that he agrees with, throws it up on screen and fucking games and eats food while it's playing, and acts like that's a show. Like he has the fucking right to it. The ironic part about it, about Hassan's show in that regard, is as millionaire Marxists go, which, Jimmy would, I'm sure, Jimmy qualifies. Both of these assholes, him and Hassan, both take other people's content that other people have made and don't form a commune with these people of creatives where we all share stuff back and forth. Nah, just fucking snatch it right out of their hand. Yeah. So here we go.
Who are free speech advocates, Kurt?
Mm-hmm.
The right-wing free speech warriors like Ben Shapiro.
Oh my God! That includes speech you don't like.
You got it.
Facts
That's
don't
right.
care about your feelings. I believe the great Ben Shapiro.
The great
once
Ben
said.
Shapiro said, "Facts don't care about your feelings."
Yeah.
And free speech, free speech.
And free speech, free speech.
And
sure. Hassan does some commentary, but he borrows shit all the time. That's what I'm saying. And he says he has the right to do it. He was talking about it on the Ethan podcast that they do together. That he has that qualifies. And it does not.
She put a, and so she did a great segment on this. I'm using her. She found these tweets. I found one more. But here's Ben Shapiro. If you work in the media and uncritically and reflexively parrot the genocidal Jew-hating terrorist liars, Hamas, you should be fired. So that's Ben Shapiro apparently saying you shouldn't have free speech.
No. He's saying that anybody who reflexively parrots Hamas, which he characterizes as genocidal and Jew-hating, which if you read their actual charter, the death of all the Jews and the elimination of the state of Israel is like the second line. There's a case to be made. If you, and he says it, uncritically and reflexively parrot it, you should be fired. Now, I would argue that if you, as a journalist, if you uncritically and reflexively parrot anyone, you're not a journalist. That's not being fired for free speech. That's being fired for being a mouthpiece for an organization without processing it all. Now, does he have a side in that? Yeah, he's Jewish, and he might be a little more sensitive than Jimmy. I don't give a fuck about either side except for what's politically expedient to what I can sell to the people that are watching my show. He doesn't have a fucking dog in either of these fights except how it benefits him. But Ben Shapiro's Jewish, so he's gonna, in the context of his, relatives and ancestors that passed away in fucking pogroms and fucking the Holocaust and all that stuff, he's going to have a different take on it. But the key words in this, and this is the problem with, free speech should also involve, I think, free fucking reading. That you should freely read what's actually in front of you instead of what you're said to write. Now, this is not me defending Ben Shapiro. This is me reading fucking sentences and knowing what they mean.
And if you do use it, you should lose your job. You should be canceled.
Nope. No, that's not what that says at all. What that says is if you reflexively and uncritically parrot, rubber stamp, act as a spokesperson for Hamas, then you should be fired. Now, if he swapped those around, and instead of saying it said Hamas, it said Arab hating Israeli government, you should be fired. Jimmy would agree with it uncritically himself. He would go, yeah, but that's the whole mainstream media is based on that idea, right? That's what he would absolutely support that idea in that context. And secondarily, propaganda is not free speech. It is manipulative speech on behalf of a group or a government.
Well, facts do care about his feelings, it turns
Facts
out.
do care about his feelings.
Why is that? Because he's a Jew, is the point that Kurt is making.
Obviously, facts care about the feelings of
Isn't it funny
the
to
nation
watch?
of Israel.
It's like everybody has their own
Special
their
thing.
own special thing that
Yeah.
shows them to be just exactly like the people they claim to hate.
Okay.
Ben
Well, as a great example, Jimmy and Kurt are showing a clip, showing a quote on screen, and mischaracterizing it in a way that they say the mainstream media does all the time. They are propagandizing for their side using, and here's the thing, you can make the case without misquoting the quote. You can say Ben Shapiro has a slanted view of it because he's Jewish, and in some ways he might be uncritically taking what the Israeli government says. And of course he's going to say people should be fired. And there's an argument to be made that anybody that posts something uncritically, that rubber stamps anything from any organization or any government entity, and doesn't say this is what they said, or repeats it as if it's the truth without checking, shouldn't be a journalist. That's a reasonable fucking conversation to have. That's not what's going to happen here. We're just going to watch Jimmy and Kurt make the case that Ben Shapiro is a hypocrite and full of shit while being hypocritical and being full of shit. It's amazing. It's impressive.
Shapiro claims they hate those liberal snowflakes who can't take freedom of speech and hearing ideas that they don't like until it's an idea he doesn't like, and then he wants you fired from your job.
Well, that's different. It's hate speech. When
by the way, Kurt's more like avowedly right wing, and is more faux-aggressive, admittedly faux-aggressive than Jimmy. Jimmy is still laboring under the idea that his sheep's clothing is still convincing people. 57.8 K in subscribers. We're getting near 60. Subscribe. It's a good time.
Isn't that this is amazing to me?
I'll tell you.
That's because you're stupid and you read what you wanted to read, not what's actually written in front of you. We all saw you guys in chat room. I'd like to hear from you and anybody who looks at this video later on and comment below. Huh? See how that works? It's like, did he not? Are they not mischaracterizing specifically what Ben Shapiro is saying in this to try and paint him as a hypocrite because he's not on their side in this one, in this argument? That's the only other reason. Half the time, Jimmy and Kurt, they'll split a Ben Shapiro ball each. I mean,
What's amazing is
I was going to go further with that, but no one needs more of that analogy.
back when it started up with you should get fired for saying whatever it is. I don't.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Like retroactive.
Yeah, like the N-word at work or sexually harassing women at work. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I mean, are we free or not in this fucking country? Right, Tits McGee? Like,
Anyway, boy, you guys sure are acting like crazy far right wingers. I remember from, like back when Harry Potter was being burned by crazy Baptist kind of people out here.
Yeah, that's not. That shit's been going on. I mean, I grew up as a Kiss fan. They burned my albums in the 70s. That's not that. Everybody pretending that like the era of free speech right wingers or the anti-cancel culture shit didn't have to do with fucking Milo Yiannopoulos being on campuses talking shit, like gay conversion therapy while he has a black boyfriend, and being racist on campus and people not wanting him there. That was like the pinnacle of this, and even Shapiro not kind of being driven off of college campuses. That's the spike of it, not fucking Baptists burning fucking Harry Potter.
All these churches were like, it's witchcraft. They're burning Harry Potter. And then,
hardcore Christians invented burning books about wizards with the Harry Potter books. For fuck's sake.
All of a sudden, 7 years later, I'm watching left-wing activists burn Harry Potter for the same. And I was like, boy, we have come full circle.
Wow.
No. Wow. It's so, if you think about it. Okay, first of all, the left-wing trans activists were not burning it because of the content of the books. They were burning it as a I'm not going to have these books in my house by this author because of what she says elsewhere. Not what's in the fucking books. There's a huge difference between Baptists burning the contents of a Harry Potter book because they believe it promotes witchcraft and a trans activist getting mad at J.K. Rowling and burning the fucking book, right or wrong, because of what she's saying about what they believe she's saying about them. It's two totally different fucking things. It's not even that. There's a huge difference between burning the books because you no longer want to own them and fuck that person, and burning the books because you don't want anybody to be able to read them. And neither of these assholes can tell the difference in that situation. For the record, I'm against burning books. Let's just start there. But pretending that those are two of the same thing or two of the same reasoning, and that it's fucking... that there's some like, oh my God, it's like full fucking circle. And look at Jimmy, just like his forehead's been struck by, a lightning turd.
Oh.
Anyway, I would constantly point out in the beginning, especially with the comedy, the comedy wars of the Tosh.0 years or whatever, you guys sound like
Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's a veteran of the comedy wars of the Tosh.0 years. That, for those of you that don't know, that's the period that Kurt and Jimmy had to live through where they would say shitty, angry, unfunny things on stage and be convinced that you can't even joke about stuff anymore because people are so sensitive without having an ounce of self-reflection to recognize you're not being funny, fuckhead. I talk about, in my stand-up, you guys have seen me, I talk about all these topics. And I'm fucking hilarious. And it's not because I'm always on one side of the spectrum of it safely. I speak openly about these things. I just do it from the point of view of being humorous with the intention of bringing everyone in on the laugh and not going, fuck you, fuck you. Yeah, just edgelording my way through it and pretending it's comedy. That's Kurt's problem. That's Jimmy's. Jimmy's fucking act these days is grotesque. The only things that show up that are even formatted like jokes are shitty steals from other people.
Right-wingers like, no, we don't. Then I noticed a thing of, hey, I thought you guys said you like free speech. Like, no, I wasn't a right-winger. I said you're being like a right-winger. They try to turn it around on you. I guess you guys don't like it. The whole time I've been saying they all hate free speech. Nobody has been switching back and forth except these assholes.
Yes, Kurt has been the one constant in an ever-changing universe. He's been consistent through this whole thing. Angry and unfunny. And, just a signpost in the hurricane of free speech.
Here's friend of the show, Dave Rubin. So France banned pro-Palestinian protests. That seems to me very anti-free speech.
Are you telling me Dave Rubin is somewhat insincere in his... You mean to tell me that Dave Rubin, stand up...
By the way, for the record, Dave Rubin's a dick, but so is Jimmy. They're both TYT castoffs. You know how Donald Trump's always shitting on Ron DeSantis and everybody that was in his cabinet and anybody that he hired for a job, all of his selections for everything. He's like, they suck, they're terrible, disloyal, no charisma. Like, motherfucker, you picked them. TYT has fucking laced the world with these dickheads. Like, I mean, not everybody that leaves there is an asshole. Ben's lovely. There's a bunch of decent people out there. But the guys that make it off of TYT, that branch out, are fucking horrible.
Respected stand-up comedian from New York that I never heard of until maybe a couple years ago. Dave Rubin. Bringer show comedian Dave Rubin.
There's no need to denigrate his comedy.
I resent that he's like, oh, he's a stand-up comedy. Like, no, he ain't. Did he do
Rubin,
the Dan Ninen circuit?
Dave Rubin makes me laugh.
Well, this is pretty funny.
He is.
What does he do? Just say because he's gay and he can talk about how talking about social issues that apply to gay people are just a distraction, and Jimmy can go ha and go ha ha ha. You mean like that kind of laughter?
Especially in person, he's very funny. But here he is seemingly going against. We should bring Dave on.
Maybe the West has a chance, Dave. Now that's okay. If he's not stupid and he is funny, then he knows that that's the most insincere, clearly to curry face, as if he's running for office.
Well, it seems contradictory. So we should.
It does seem contradictory. However, we'll get to that in a minute. First of all, it's France. It's not the United States. But we'll get there. They have different rules about different stuff. They also, you see, France was taken over by the Nazis. And the Nazis were also chanting things about kill the Jews. And at all these Palestinian protests, they were having a hard time with people who were just protesting on behalf of the Palestinians. And that's about 20% of this crowd. And the other 80% is yelling, gas the Jews. And France had a real problem with people from a neighboring country coming in and saying shit like that just a few decades ago.
We should bring Dave on.
It's like he's running. Everybody's running for office in their regular life. Oh, I have a show. I'm going to have to pander to a certain group as if I need them to fund me to run for president, like I'm RFK. That's.
You don't think there's like Palestinian style support money out there.
That's what he's doing right there.
So Dave Rubin's trying to be RFK.
Or he's dumb, because that's crazy what he said.
So banning protests, he seems to be endorsing. That seems to be contradictory.
Yeah, it would seem to be, except again, that the protests themselves involve so much hate speech that they're not really simply, in quotes, pro-Palestinian. This guy's calling them pro-Palestinian, but they're not. They're anti-Israel protests waving the Palestinian flag. There's a difference. I think arguing, if you had a bunch of people out there saying free Palestine, peace for Palestine, allow Palestinian refugees into France, that kind of stuff, they wouldn't have this problem. But the problem is the groups that are gathering are walking down the street saying gas the Jews. Yeah? That's why. Let's be real clear. The other reason is, and this is why, there's a reason why Dave Rubin is saying maybe the West has a chance. The reason he's making this distinction is because under Palestinian rule, let's say, you want Palestine to exist, or you want the Palestinians to have their own state. In that Palestinian state, all the Western values take for granted: women's rights, gay rights, rule of law, not being beheaded, those kind of things. Those go out the window. The Hamas and even the PLO, when it was the primary force, Islamic Jihad within Palestine, the Palestinians largely 56 to 70%, depending on which poll you look at, believe in the extreme side of Muslim family values. Women secondary citizens, can't own property, all that kind of stuff. Hardcore Islamic, Islamist ideology, right? Which is antithetical to the Muslims that live in Western countries and interact with everyone else. The Muslims that would live for centuries in what we now have as Israel and would have been the Palestinian area, the Arabs, the Jews, the Christians that were in there, like interacting, living together, not warring during that period. Thanks, oil. They would be against those people. The Western idea of you can believe whatever you want, but it stops at the end of your nose. Palestinians en masse, and again, this is not a reason to kill the civilians in there. This is not a reason to obliterate the area. But it is, you can have an awareness about the values of that particular group en masse. That's where he's coming from. Do I agree with it? And you're looking at two fucking tweets next to each other with a twit describing it. We're not even talking about the depth of the issue in the way that we're discussing it here and in my chat. We're talking about, this conversation is not even about the stuff I just informed this with. This is what that guy said in relation to this oversimplified tweet and Jimmy reacting to it so that he can, again, take a very complex issue and oversimplify it for clicks.
So
Do you know why
Dave
there's
has offered to come on the show and talk about this, so I think we will bring him on.
Okay, you know why France has all these Palestinians, by the way, and Arabs? Because as Dan Cohen told us, the way it works in Gaza is, it's not that you can't leave Gaza. You just got to get the hell out of the area. So that's where all these Arab immigrants have poured into the EU, many of them. They're from that area and didn't want to die or live in the prison camp that is Gaza.
And they also can't go to any of the other surrounding Muslim countries.
And Israel supposedly will pay you to leave for good.
But they can go into the European countries, which support the existence of Israel. Largely the populace in France and elsewhere supports a two-state solution, just like I do, just like most of the United States does. So the idea that you would come there and go, oh, I'm able to go to this country and be there. This is about his defense of this. This is just how, like, what a cheap, dumbing down of this idea that he's doing. Right? This is how fucking stupid Kurt's take is. Again, because when we're talking about the depths of these issues, understand that we're not actually talking about the issues themselves when we have to deal with clips like this, because there's a lot of moving parts and they're worth talking about. But you can't move from one talking point to another in a highly complex system except as a diversionary tactic or to not make any progress at all. That's what this is. That's what this shit is. It's not a tweet anymore. It's a flex, right?
Because they want that
Really?
land. Oh yeah. So guess what? Hey,
Like, notice how Jimmy just takes Kurt's word for it. Really? That's so all the Arabs that fled during the Jasmine Revolution, the Iranians and other people who are in France, they're all just magically fucking Palestinians, according to Kurt, and therefore now this is like watching Trump right before he goes on stage and some dipshit local politician with some hard on for some right-wing issue about guns or immigrants or whatever spouts some bullshit factoid, you know, and then he just he's like, oh, you know what I just learned that a lot of you probably don't know, but I know it before you do, so that automatically makes me smarter than you. That's exactly what this shit is.
why are all these people swarming into France? Well, because Israel doesn't want them in Israel.
Oh, okay. That's
So-
what Dan Cohen
No,
said?
not okay. The fuck? What?
Yeah, well, what he said is they'll pay him to
leave?
emigrate the hell out, but America don't take them. EU takes them though. Like
We have Palestinians here. What the fuck are you talking about? And the reason they go to the EU is because it's just it's closer.
France. That's why they had so many. All the
How many? So many.
discontents of places we bombed to let them get kicked out of their home. They've been immigrating into Europe, and they got the same kind of feelings Miami Cubans got.
I just can't believe these people.
No, they don't. The fucking Arabs in France are not parallel to Miami Cubans. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't make the case that the Palestinians can't go to Egypt and they can't go to Lebanon and they can't go to Syria because they're unfucking welcome. They can't go to Iraq or Iran. They can't join the fucking Houthis. The only place they can go is if they can get a rowboat to an airplane, end up in fucking France so that they can say fuck Western democracy. This is the idea that they're in there going kill the Jews and gas the Jews and the hell with Israel and all this stuff as a pushback because they identify, even though they live in France, as Palestinians and with a right to return, and eventually will go back, and they don't really view themselves as French or whatever. And you're going to parallel that to Cubans that fled Castro, went to the United States to be free, and don't want to go back to fucking Cuba until, as a matter of fact, Castro and Hamas would be the direct parallel in this situation, and they want the exact fucking opposite. God damn, this is dumb.
People who can.
And the whole thing about like Jimmy just like his sponge brain just going, wow, I never really thought about it that way / at all.
Consider themselves free speech warriors and for years have decried the liberal left.
Wait, is that the end of this? Hold on one second. What the fuck? Sometimes these videos do this. Hold on. Yeah, sometimes these videos just don't want to play on here. It's a Rumble thing. It's super weird. You know what? Here's the thing. I kind of don't give a fuck. You get the idea. Honest to God. No, nobody needs more of this dickhead, in their life than they already have. But you get the point. The basis of this entire thing is
4:37 p.m.
It is. The basis of the entire thing is that Jimmy finds himself on the side of right wingers, and considers himself a part of that right wing camp. Some for his extensions, but I've got my hard drive on this computer is filling up. Crazy. Hold on one second. I got to do something. Let's go to this thing, and I'll go to downloads, and then I'll choose size, and then I'll choose this thing through this thing. Hold on, this thing to let's go all the way down to here, and we'll excellent. And then is there a thing on yeah. Is there a special empty trash on PCs? I'm so on PC. Or does it just disappear when it disappears? Hopefully so. Yeah. Anyways, the recycle bin, yes. I don't. It just doesn't show up on my fucking Fabrity. Go up to here. Hold on. Take your time. Snooze. Windows update. I don't need that kind of shit right now. Nobody does. There it is. The recycle bin. Right click that. No. Hold on. Empty recycle bin. Yes. Okay, hopefully that helped. Thank you so much. Thank you for walking me through that ridiculously unnecessary process. So super exciting. Now, let's go anti-Ben to pro-Willard. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Ben Shapiro, who is the Speaker of the House. Now, there seems to be a lot of remember how I was telling you guys how they're going to have to pick somebody that barely anybody knows anything about, because anybody with any Q is not going to want to sacrifice their fucking career for this role. And and there's a window of people who want their career to have legs and are willing to chew shit to get through it. Maybe they'll make it, maybe they won't, but they're going to roll the dice because they're a nobody. That's who this is. Mike Johnson's a nobody. And he's got a nobody kind of nondescript name, and that's what most people are saying about him. And to the point where most of the talk I've heard about him, if you look at it online, is who is this guy? Who is he? Who is he? Who is he? Who is he? And basically a lot of people are coming around to that he's like McCarthy light. It doesn't matter. They're already turning on him. It's a shit job. But again, he's not somebody that they were looking at Jim Jordan. They're like, we're really wrecking Jim's brand. If we'll wreck everybody who's famous' brand if they go through this. They changed the rules for removing this leader this time around. No, they didn't, Rob. The rules are back to kind of normal. He didn't apparently make a bunch of deals about this. And more than likely he's going to punt with a CR or something. They're going to hate him. We're going to be right back here in fucking January. Yeah. So anyways, I don't know why Ben Shapiro is now putting Ben down in the lower right-hand corner. They are really just trying every marketing scheme they can fucking come up with. Now he's just decided to go with the rat from Willard. But this is Ben Shapiro. He'll explain to us who is this Speaker of the House.
Well, good news, folks. The Republicans stopped kicking themselves in the balls long enough to name a Speaker of the House.
And if I could just do that, maybe my voice would come down.
So finally, some good news for Republicans. Apparently, Republicans, last night, they decided to stop kicking themselves directly in the nads.
Yeah, we see that this is in your notes. Mr. Sit in a Starbucks and read out loud from your laptop and call it a show. You've said that twice. It's very Trumpy. And it's just shit. Look, I realize that I live look around and find stuff, and sometimes I have to click things off, but I'm a one-man band here. Nobody gives a fuck. You got a fake set with staff. There's no excuse. Get a teleprompter.
And instead, they decided to actually vote in favor of Mike Johnson. So Mike Johnson, somebody that I would say most of America had not heard of.
I've heard of Mike Johnson. Oh, Mike Johnson. Sorry.
Like ever. He was only elected to Congress fairly recently. He hasn't been
fairly recently
in Congress all that long.
All that long. How long? 2 terms? Just say 2 terms. He's a 2-term House, but just say it.
He is a congressman from Louisiana.
Okay, you got that part right.
According to Politico, his anonymity in Washington was...
Politico? Politico? You mean the mainstream media?
...was the driving force in his election as Speaker, because he hadn't made any enemies yet. He became the unlikely leader of an unruly group of House Republicans who will now rely on him to run their...
This motherfucker is quoting straight from Politico. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any fake news bullshit from these motherfuckers ever.
...side of the Capitol. He was next to no one's first pick. But, again, everybody else had a...
Of course he wasn't the first pick. He's 4th. I can't even...
high profile, and that meant that he was the guy who kind of sneak in under the radar.
That how he did it?
Now Johnson must figure out how to achieve what McCarthy couldn't compromise that doesn't prompt a mutiny.
Here's what you need to learn how to achieve. How to say what you think about this fucking issue, knowing the details of the issue without just reading chunks of fucking Politico. Good Lord. I'll go to Bloomberg or Market Watch or one of these economic sites because that's not my forte. Although, considering how correct I've been about this shit for so long, I'm gonna have to. I gotta take it back. It is my forte now. It is my forte. I was fucking right about. We did the Bloomberg thing. Anyways, when I go to those sites, I read pieces of that as referential, but I don't. The rest of the time, like, decry the generalized outside non-indie media as being a force for evil in the world.
Now, he's going to have an easier time with that. The reason he's going to have an easier time with that than McCarthy did is because he's not named Kevin McCarthy. Seriously, it's that simple. Matt Gaetz and a few of his crew decided they hated McCarthy. And so what that meant is that any compromise that McCarthy cut.
Okay, so anything that Mike Johnson does that Matt Gaetz doesn't like, he's just going to let it slide now. This is the sharp political commentary coming from Ben Shapiro about the situation with the House Speaker. That simply it's the Mick part. It's the Irish Scottish background of something that Kevin way back that is the driving force. So if he passes a CR or an omnibus or Ukraine funding, it is Ben Shapiro's, I guess, assertion, right, that he's just gonna, it'll be a wash.
Was going to be seen as treason by Gaetz and company and used as an excuse to get rid of McCarthy. Well, now Johnson is going to come in. He's going to do kind of exactly what McCarthy did because the incentive structure is precisely the same. So to take an example, McCarthy just cut a continuing resolution. He cut it with some Democrats. The reason he had to do that is because he had a better continuing resolution deal that was scuttled by Gaetz and company. Then, after McCarthy actually did the continuing resolution to fund the government, that's when he was ousted by Gaetz and company. Well,
yeah, we've seen this part.
Now, Mike Johnson's going to come in, and you know what he's proposing? Continuing resolutions. The same sort of stuff. Now, he can pass a bunch of...
So let me see if I can get this. Chat room, help me out here. See if I'm a little off base. But what you're telling me is the Republicans did all this shit for nothing. Just to clarify, boy with caterpillars on his forehead, this all went down for no fucking gain. And at the same time, you still think this is the group that should run the government of the greatest country in the world. Am I picking up what you're putting down there? Boy with caterpillars on his face. So all of this, not only was it for zero gain, but it was always just bullshit. And it was like personal mean girl infighting amongst grown fucking adults in the party you support that you think should have control, a bit more control of the House, complete control of the Senate and the presidency. 'Cause fuck a why? All right. I don't know. I'm just
Bullshit!
Yeah, to me, this is insanity. Why would you or anyone like you fucking think this qualifies? By the way, the main shooter, they've got his house surrounded. They're saying in the chat room, whether he's in there or not, we'll see.
Single issue bills, supposedly. You can pass the appropriations bills, do the process and all of that. But Democrats are going to reject it, and he's going to come back to doing continuing resolutions.
Right, because they only have half of one house and only by a slim margin, and they're going to need Democratic votes to pass things because they've got a purity test problem that we had to live with for a short while that never was an overwhelming vote because we had enough of a margin, and even our fringe were smart enough to know that you got to be able to actually accomplish shit. whereas apparently scuttling the whole fucking government is the purpose of the Free Dummy Caucus.
Now, the thing is that because Gates ousted McCarthy and because Johnson is the new speaker, he had...
Really? Okay, you guys are writing this down, right? Thanks for the details.
As an incentive, Gates does, in making Johnson appear to be better than McCarthy, which means that he is not going to yell and scream about any deal that Johnson cuts. So inherently, Johnson has more leeway.
Okay, so according to Ben Shapiro, Matt Gaetz is a showboater and full of shit, and won't he's hung up his maggot Free Dummy Caucus credentials, and he's not going to go after Johnson if he does exactly the same shit that McCarthy did, because it's simply like, again, it's a pissing contest like it's fucking middle school.
To cut deals and make deals than McCarthy did, mainly because all the people who would be incentivized to get rid of...
By the way, people who are watching this later or at home, I have not sped this up.
Somebody for the publicity already did that, and so they can't do it again. They have to play this as though they achieved some sort of massive win by substituting Johnson for McCarthy. And again, the policy is going to come out almost exactly the same. It's going to be very, very, very similar.
Okay, so that gives you a good slice. And by the way, hi chat room. That gives you a good slice of, that's Ben Shapiro's take on it. Now, let's see if I get, yeah, that is the standard of thought. Well, here, I'll show you. This is Glenn Bloat's take on it.
Oh my gosh, the new speaker is here, Stu. Are you excited? Mike Johnson! He's the one we've been looking for. He's the one. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what I know about Mike Johnson. Okay, now that we have that covered, let me...
Right. So this is the overall the running gag amongst right wingers is nobody knows who the fuck this guy is. By the way, this is not a problem Democrats have. When we pick somebody, you're gonna know.
Tell you how I view this.
Yeah, because you have no information. So
the media loves Mike or hates Mike Johnson
today.
Hates him.
Oh yeah.
No, they don't.
Yeah, hates him.
And also, what the fuck do you mean the media?
Passionately hate him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when McCarthy was Hitler?
No. Some people bring up the fact that he was an active participant in January 6th. McCarthy wasn't. But it didn't matter because McCarthy went down and gargled Trump's balls at Mar-a-Lago anyways.
Oh, yeah. He was the most right-wing speaker in history.
Yeah,
Gee, it's almost like every time somebody runs for president on the Democratic side, they're the most left-wing, extremist, communist Democrat fucking ever. John Kerry, fucking like Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton. It's always the most. Gee, it's almost as if the media that you're talking about is your own media.
This is Hitler's Hitler.
No.
This is the one Hitler looked up to going, wow, that guy's bad.
Yeah, I noticed this in the coverage. All of a sudden.
Well, Hitler wouldn't think the person was bad. He would think they were good for doing bad things. But it's okay. Glenn's going to probably yawn for lack of oxygen in a minute. So this is usually some sort of a, like a shot across the bow. Something, he says something that makes you think, this person doesn't have enough oxygen going to their brain.
Kevin McCarthy's this like moderate guy that we could all understand and get along with. But
right.
this guy, he's crazy.
Ooh, he's nuts. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm just going to give you. I want you to view this in a different way. I remember being on the air when I don't remember, white or black smoke came out of.
White
of the Vatican, and we're like, got a new pope, and the media was like, oh, we're gonna hate all these popes, they're bad popes.
What the fuck? No, you don't. I'll take shit that never happened for 1,000, Alex. The fuck are you talking about? Okay. The Pope before this one, the one that quit. What are you saying? There's two of me? Where are there two of me? I don't see a second me in here. Are you talking about just kind of the glow behind me because my lights aren't as strong? This is just horse shit. This is right up there with Trump saying he saw people dancing on rooftops after 9/11.
This pope is going to be a really bad pope.
This is fucking like no one ever talked like this about the pope. The media sure as fuck does not go on the air with a fucking 750 million Catholics in the world and a bunch of floater Catholics on the outside and goes, the person that's going to lead this. It's like, you think they wouldn't go, this would be a terrible Dalai Lama. Like, nobody does that. No one. Never happened.
So bigoted. And then Francis, they pulled out the name and they were, immediately within 10 minutes, everyone on CNN, MSNBC, everybody was like, oh, he's a good pope. He's one of the best popes ever. He's going to be.
Again, what the shit? No, they didn't.
Wow, we love this guy. And I remember looking at Stu saying, uh-oh, there's something really wrong with this guy.
Yeah, he might have actual Christian values or something, or be charitable towards other people, and that sucks. By the way, neither of these fuckheads are Catholic.
Okay.
Glenn is Mormon, but only because he went religion shopping with his wife when they were going to have kids, and they wanted to raise their kids in a religion. So he went like knocking doors, essentially going, which church pushes me to the front of the line? And Mormonism was the one. Like, men, fucking, you get a planet after you die, I'm for it. It's this or Scientology. It's basically the same structure.
So what did we do? We didn't know. We had a pretty good indication because the media loved him. Seeing that the media does not love Johnson, I think that's a pretty good sign. But just like this Pope, I didn't want to say, more than be cautious. So I'm going to say the same thing here. Be cautious.
This is their fucking party. This is what passes for political discourse on their side. I don't know who this guy is, and he might be great because other people who we hate him. So therefore, he must be okay, because if we hate them and they hate him, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But I've said that before about a dozen fucking people that Trump picked, and it turned out to be shit.
But maybe we have a good pope. I mean, a good speaker. Unlike, I said, be cautious, this guy could be a nightmare. Be cautious, this guy might be good.
What? Honest to fucking hell. I can't. I guess, is this what it's like to just fill time on your fucking show? When you're like, shit, I got nothing. Today, I got nothing. The world, there's fucking, the Russia-Ukraine war is still going on. Israel, Palestine, all the Palestinians, all that shit's happening right now. There's fucking, we've got Trump in his own place doing all this, and this motherfucker, like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, it could be good. His voting record isn't all that much better than McCarthy's. Pretty much the same.
But
right?
McCarthy was still not so bad.
No, he wasn't a catastrophe. I mean,
oh God, I can't. It's just the fucking namby-pamby.
It seems like they're going to be right in the same realm. I mean, the question was, is the risk worth it for this type of outcome? As we said at the beginning, most likely what's going to happen is
I kicked my pedal.
Someone who's similar, like McHenry or McCarthy or Scalise, is going to be the guy who gets through, and that's probably what's happened here. I mean, it seems, he is conservative, like he's very good on issues like pro-life, but I mean, he didn't have that problem with McCarthy really either.
Right? They're Republicans. Yeah, he's yet another Republican. He got all the votes on your side. Of course he's checked certain boxes. What the hell? Hold on one second. fixing something. I kicked my pedal and then it stopped working. This one should be OBS, and it should be oh no, it should be control for the system. That's what it is. I don't know why that died. It's weird. Replace. Excellent. Then, no, I don't want that one to be the end. If anything, I want to go to a scene with this one and replace it. And I want it to be you guys. There we go. I don't know why, but my, like, Chip. Hold on, let's see if this works. Why aren't you working? You crazy thing. Oh, maybe, no, it's plugged in. Shit. Oh well.
And of course,
Great, I've broken a piece of gear. Hold on. This thing, I kicked it a second ago. Maybe it'll rethink it. I don't know. Nope. Oh well. I'm gonna have to fix it later. It's gonna take a restart. No, it's not new gear. It's older gear, and it's a little noisy, but it's okay. It's a good pedal. I think I'll move it to the new computer if I can get it to work over there. I've got so much work to do. I barely do it. You can tell I'm having tech issues because I'm speaking with a British accent. It happens.
of course, this is not. They're not going to ban abortion while they only have the house, right? Like that's not going to happen.
So here's
Yeah, it's almost like you're a bunch of fucking losers and you got to come to terms.
the thing. We're going to know quite quickly because we have the spending bill coming up. And what a surprise. It happens right before the holidays.
What do you mean, what a surprise? It's not a surprise. This should have gotten passed back in fucking June. The Republicans just suck at this. He's acting like, oh, it's all part of the plan. The fuck what? Are you saying that they could have passed this earlier, but Matt Gaetz wanted to, like, bleed the clock out? I don't know. I honestly, the fucking, it's just, I'm really don't understand the angle that he's even trying to appear smart with.
Happens right before Thanksgiving. Huh. Nothing bad ever happens in Congress when we all go away for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
right, like we.
Fuck are you talking about? They have to do it before they go away. They go away too, asshat. You think they pass bills while we're on tryptophan hangovers with turkey? What?
We have our holiday parties, and they have their holiday parties.
Exactly
and their
right.
holiday parties are much better than ours.
Yeah.
They spend trillions of
Right.
dollars.
So
On the American people and on infrastructure and on the fucking military and the budget itself. They don't just throw trillions. What the fuck? Oh, God. This is like, they got nothing.
we'll see with this first holiday party. If we
Oh, that motherfucker's yawning again. Look, I was kidding. Talk about wasted oxygen, Kath. Look at this dumb fucking hell. He's bored by his own ignorance. Dear Lord, what an idiot. That's just fucking ridiculous. Look at him. Look at him. It's a good Halloween mask. Yeah, it looks like Stu farted. He had a tiring day. Being stupid is exhausting. Honestly. I just gotta leave this for a minute. I'm just enjoying it. What the shit?
He's already indicated, Glenn, by the way, that he's going to support.
God damn, stay away for your own fucking show. You work 3 hours a day, asshole. Fuck me. I drove back from LA last night, okay? So I left the show at Flappers around 11:30. Like I had to, about a little after 11. Went back to the house in LA, picked up my bags and shit, and my computer and all that stuff, put it in my truck, drove to Vegas. Stopped for gas a couple of times. Had to pull over one point because I was tired. Slept for 20 minutes and then kept driving. Okay, I got home this morning at 5 something. I want to say it was like 5:40 in the morning. And I went to bed and I got up. Summer's got, her show is launching this week. So she got up at 8:30 because she had to go, and they worked till late last night doing light cues and shit like that. And she had to get out of here and go do some stuff before they even met up to run the show a couple times today. And so she had to get up early, relatively early, especially very early considering I had literally arrived home at 5:40 in the morning. And I still got up, got her a fucking coffee, and then went back to bed for a little while. But I've been up ever since. And no coffee. I have had no caffeine today. And this motherfucker has the same show every fucking day. And he's like, eat my fucking, Stu, I think it's when you talk. Lord almighty.
Or a spending deal to go forward.
And again, can I show you something? I don't have a button set up for it because I don't need one. But let me show you something. Watch this. Now, if I need to go like off camera for a second, I have a button that can let me do that. That I program my fucking self. How you have a woman at home that can smack you awake. She doesn't smack me awake though, Bald Thanos. As a matter of fact, I don't think she even expected me to get coffee for her this morning. I did it because I love her. I get up and get my girl coffee in the morning. That's what I do. But like, I have a button on one of my stream decks here of the 3 that I have running at any given time that goes to the be right back screen. You can also do one of the switchovers, or he could even just have a button that's like a red light for the engineer, the guy he's got in the fucking booth that flips it, that tells that guy, I'm about to yawn. New love is the best. We've been together 11 years. Simmer. So, yeah, Glenn hates big tech. That's not true because that's his nickname for Stu. When Stu gets under the desk and starts to reprogram things. All right, anyways.
So this is not like a guy who's going to reverse the things that, Matt Gaetz said, for example, that he was opposed and he was upset about. This is a guy who's outwardly said he wants to sign a short-term spending deal to get us through these times so the government doesn't shut down. So, I mean...
Right.
Again, you're going to get, I think, similar... But that's not the worst thing in the world.
How long is the short-term thing? Like if
Jesus Christ. It's your show, dumb fuck. You're supposed to have insider knowledge. Don't you have these? Can't you call Chip Roy and ask, what's the one on the table? What's the length of time? Is it to January? Is it 30 days? Is it 90 days? Is it to the spring? Are they going to try and pass one that just gets us through the fucking election? So we're going to have to do this shit between now and the election. And then we can argue that we need to win this election so that we can trap down spending. That shit. If it's suit drama, I don't forget it. I'm trying to put it away.
If you give it to...
I don't want it to be in my brain.
To February, I'm not thrilled with this by any stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I made this date up in my head, and I don't like it.
Because something will come up, and they'll be like, you know what, we need a little more time. Short spending bills is not the answer. However, a CR is really bad. And if he gives,
I'm going to burst into flames. I don't know how Glenn Beck manages to get dumber all the time. Every time I think there's like, well, you can't get stupider than that. That's just fucking ridiculous. He manages.
Is this another continuing resolution where they don't even try to put spending back where it belongs? There's trouble.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is
well said. Brilliant. What back where it belongs. Back where we belong.
They're going to spend they're going to get some.
Oh, God. Somehow, Stu is going to out-stupid Glenn.
Some sort of spending package through. So it might be short term, might be more of a continuing resolution.
Oh, my God, it hurts. Fucking, like Guido the Killer Pimp in Risky Business. I'm starting to get a stomach ache. Jesus Christ.
They're going to do it. The question is whether there's going to be any concessions. And you may get a few concessions to conservatives. Of course, with those concessions always come concessions to the left. So you might say, well, we're going to not spend this many dollars on this thing that conservatives don't like. Maybe.
Slow down. There's too many details flying at me at once. I'm having a hard time. Someone please tell me you're writing this down on a yellow legal pad so that I can refer to it later, because there's too many moving parts. Too many. Sorry. Say that again, Stu. Yeah, I mean, it's such a good breakdown. I hate for people to miss it. How does the budgeting thing work?
Might say, well, we're going to not spend this many dollars on this thing that conservatives don't like. Maybe you cut some of the Ukraine funding out or whatever the issue of the day is. Of course, at the same time, to get this stuff through, what usually happens is there's little gifts to the moderate side of the Republicans. Mm-hmm. And in this case, because you have to work with the Senate and the president on it, you wind up giving concessions to people on the left, too.
Weird. It sounds like, and I know this word scares the shit out of you, and I know Glenn hates it. It sounds like democracy. It sounds like how a fucking democracy works. Dumb shit. Like, fuck. This is how this usually works out when no one has a clear mandate, and in a particular situation, whenever we only have 1/3 of the half of 1/3 of the government, this is how it usually works out. Glenn, this is how.
So, there's only so much a speaker can do, which was part of the reason why the last few weeks didn't make all that much sense.
Jesus Christ. What is this? How is this a show? How do they have this many screens? This man, Glenn, Jesus Christ. Glenn Beck has, this is my green screen. It's right here. My office is this big. This motherfucker has like a space station to do his show in, and this is what he's cranking out? Maybe I'm trying too hard. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe it's on me. Maybe I blame myself. Maybe it's because I'm putting too much effort in. Maybe I'm just thinking too much. Maybe I don't know. Who can say? But I was there. All right.
Right? They can't do much in this time. Hopefully at the
By the way, everybody's like, Al, this is not good for your health. Be careful. I'm fine. I'm having a good time. Please. And I'm glad you like my shelves, Holly. They're those little IKEA boxes that you can oblong. I put them in when we first moved in, and they were a mistake. They work. I would rather have them somewhere else in the house. In here, I got it. Quite frankly, I'm this close to, because of the new computer, taking them down and replacing them with a TV screen so that I can have a reference monitor that looks like a regular TV. And you don't need to know. This is too much work.
Very least, and it seems like he will be. He'll be good on these investigations. He's not going to be Jim Jordan on them, but he,
Jesus Christ,
at least can be someone who's aggressive and hopefully allows the truth
rapes to happen at OSU. Oh no, he's not going to be Jim Jordan. I see. I beg
to come out, and that's the main thing that the House can do right now.
Oh God, that was fucking ridiculous. That's the take. That's the breakdown. That's like, hey, if you want to find out the state of the Republican Party, there are only a couple of places you can go, and the Blaze is one of them. And that's what you get. Oi. Just, it's pathetic. Hold on, I'm going to go to you guys. Hi, chat room. Because That's amazing. You're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide, by the way. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Welcome aboard. Share the show. It helps me, reach new people. Now, we got to check in on, I think probably the winner of the dumbest take on this has to be this fucking dude. So I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, but he was, this guy was president during the time that Tony Bobolinsky saw the email that called Joe Biden the big guy. That was while this guy was president. Not while Obama was president and Joe Biden was vice president. It's while Trump was president. While Joe Biden was no longer in office. Most of the things that Comer's bringing up happened while this asshat was in office. That said, he apparently has a couple of thoughts he came out of the courtroom to pass on his thoughts on Mike Johnson, a guy who has no fucking idea who he is. And he chose other people. He had two other choices, neither of which made it. So he's like, yeah.
Who are you referring to as Trump? Thank you very much, and I just want to congratulate Mike Johnson. He will be a great Speaker of the House, and we were very happy to have helped. I've known him for a long time.
We were very happy to have helped. By what? Backing Jim Jordan?
He's a tremendous leader and a tremendous man. Comes from a wonderful place, Louisiana. He's going to make us all proud. So at this time,
yeah, but okay. Take what he just said and understand that in 3 months' time, he will be calling Mike Johnson a Democrat who used to get him coffee and sucks and is a turncoat like Mike Pence.
Yesterday, nobody was thinking of Mike.
Including you.
And then we put out the word, and now he's the Speaker of the House. So I want to just thank all of the supporters that I have, and I want to thank
I want to thank all of my supporters for voting for someone else multiple times and then just going, oh, fuck it, and backing. It looks like he's about to sing a song. Oh, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I'm low.
All of the supporters that Mike has, and again, he'll be a great speaker. I think you're going to be very proud of him. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Based on what? It would seem to me, ladies and gentlemen, it would seem to me that you would say why you would think he'd be a great speaker. Just one little detail. One. All right. Either way, but he came back out in another situation and kvetched about stuff. Hold on. I think this is him coming out. Is this it? No, wait. I've got one more. That's it. Oh no, that's him coming out. Hold on. There's another. Now I have to find it. Hold on. None of this, by the way, is going to make a lick of difference. Trump, coming out and blathering, but I just enjoy. Okay, green. So my green screen's okay, or I just have a blotch by, and am I just blobby? And there's like a drag behind me. It's one of my lights got chip. Yeah, we'll figure it out. He came out. There's one. That's the Speaker Johnson one, and then. Well, maybe not. Maybe that was the only one he came out on, other than the thing about Michael Cohen that he flipped out on. Whatever. Anyways, okay, so we'll jump to this other one, which is Hogan Gidley with. I mean, that's amazing. That's the bet. I mean, that's a Trump level comb over. That's like it's like being cursed with a head that makes it look like you always just took off a baseball cap. And of course, Devin Nunes, who looks all the more excited to be running Truth Social now that the Biden campaign has more supporters than the Trump campaign on Truth Social. Here we go.
Some developments now for former President Donald Trump and his legal cases. We know several.
Really? Things are happening in those things? I haven't really been paying attention other than just laughing and throwing popcorn at the screen.
Judges have put gag orders in place as Trump continues to show strength in the 2024 presidential election polls.
That's whining, by the way. That's they call what they mean when they say strength is whining.
Against all the other GOP contenders. Our correspondent John Glasgow joins us now live from our New York newsroom with more on what Trump
And she does mean moron.
is saying in the court.
To reinstate her gag order on former President Trump's case in his federal.
Well, okay, so this is a pre-tape, and you just rolled the tape wrong, so she was still talking when you. Man. Nice tie, though. By the way, I would definitely swerve and miss you if you were in traffic.
Okay, so that is he's charged with plotting to overturn the 2020 election. The gag order was temporarily dropped after legal challenges by Trump's lawyers. Since then, Trump has made comments on social media about his former chief of staff.
Very, very Christian comments, by the way. Incredibly Christian. Lovely, following the golden rule, which is, it's more like the golden shower rule. Like if you have any friends that aren't 100% loyal and won't go to jail for you, piss on them.
Meantime, here in New York City, Trump got fined $10,000 for violating a partial gag order for this comment that people watch.
Oh, I lose that much run for the bus.
Watch live right here on Newsmax at a civil case of overinflating his assets. Watch.
I just gave the judge, he fined me $10,000. I gave him $2,000 and called it $10,000 because $8,000 of it is brand. And now I'm going to jail.
This was a trial should have never been brought, but if we had a jury, it would have been fair, at least, even if it was a somewhat negative jury, because no negative jury was brought against me. But this
no negative jury. Okay, so again,
judge will, because this judge is a very partisan judge, with a person who's very partisan sitting alongside of him. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges, perhaps even much more partisan than he is.
And you get a shot of him going, oh yeah, really? Really?
So the gag order prevents.
By the way, I keep trying to decide who should play him in the SNL sketches, and I know that the dude from Curb Your Enthusiasm has already done Bernie Sanders, but I think this would be a good one.
Trump from commenting on members of the judge's staff. Trump was forced to take the stand and explain who he was talking about. Under oath, Trump said that he was actually talking about his former lawyer, Michael.
He lied under oath.
Cohen.
Bullshit.
But the judge ruled Trump not credible and that he was actually talking about a law clerk. This is now the second fine imposed on Trump for a gag order violation. As Cohen, as for him, he was under cross-examination. He admitted to lying numerous times about Trump and his own
for Trump
actions. But last night, he defended his behavior and said this about Trump.
I saw a defeated man. I saw somebody that knows that it's the end of the Trump organization, already found guilty of fraud. The license will ultimately be taken, and now this entire case is merely about how much. This is merely about how much disgorgement the Attorney General will be seeking.
That's true, actually. They are at that portion of it. All of these arguments about how much he's going to be fined, how much money he's going to have to pay out, and his company is going to be dissolved. That is true. Yeah, Larry David. I don't know why I blitzed on his name. I was just like looking at the dude's face.
So at the end of his testimony, Cohen said Trump never specifically told him to change a property value, instead saying in his own words that Trump talks like a mob boss and that it was implied. Trump's lawyers then asked for an immediate verdict, which the judge declined. Then the former president got up and walked out of the courtroom. So let's go back to the gag.
Also, the fact, like, Trump thinks that, like, the witness just said, I never asked him to lie, so the case is over, that's that. Like, asshole, go talk to Rudy Giuliani about how they got the mob. Do you think any of the mob bosses talk like that? They talk around this shit. That's where he learned it from. Not even from the real ones, from fucking movies.
Order in his federal case, though. Prosecutors, they want to reimpose one. Now, the American Civil Liberties Union argued that the gag order violates the U.S. Constitution. Now, this is somewhat
no, it doesn't.
Surprising, as the ACLU has been very critical.
It's a bunch of G's. Yeah.
Of Trump in the past. The union argues that everyone is entitled to the same First Amendment protection against gag orders, and that they say that they're just too broad and too vague. Bianca?
They're too vague? They're too vag? Can't have that. Trump might grab it.
John Glasgow reporting from our New York City newsroom on all of these new details here on those gag orders. John, thanks. Good to
Also, ma'am, I think your mic might be a little heavy. It seems to be pulling down part of your dress.
see you. Let's talk about this a little bit closer now. Welcome in former National Press Secretary for the Trump campaign, Hogan Gidley, with us today, and CEO for the Trump Media and Technology Group.
Hogan Gidley, who looks like a young Dr. Smith from Lost in Space.
Devin Nunes. Guys, good to have you both in with us.
And you can always count on Devin Nunes to just fucking stick the landing on that dipshit smile every time.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You know, what a spectacle. I mean, $10,000, this judge and Goron, it seems like they are, drunk with power there, be it Letitia James or this judge. Your take on, what he said yesterday. First,
yeah, and only Trump can be drunk with power.
First to you, Hogan, and how the judge is just...
Tell us say what I said, just in a different way of saying it. You know what I mean?
Is clearly trying to make...
It's nice to have two guys who know I would never fuck them.
An issue out of this.
Yeah, this is an extension, really, of where Trump was in the White House. Now they just...
Oh, you mean surrounded by Russians, or...
has some legal teeth behind it. Remember, the reason the media...
Or with... Oh, I see, because Sidney Powell and all them are part of... No, that's not what you mean?
And so many others hated Donald Trump was because he didn't use the filter of the nightly newscasts to get the message out to the people. He
also didn't use legal means for a lot of
Twitter.
things.
He went to social media to tell people exactly what he was thinking. Now he's developed Truth and does it through that platform. And he likes to explain to people what's going on.
Is that what he's doing? Is he explaining to people what's going on?
To defend
when he doxes people and says they're fucking Chuck Schumer?
Himself. In this particular instance, I can't believe I'm saying I think the ACLU has it right here, but the fact is you are suppressing this man's First Amendment rights. Now, whether...
No, he can talk about a lot of shit. It was narrow, that gag order.
The attorneys want him talking publicly or not, it's a different story.
Yes.
But the fact is...
Right, his own attorneys they wish the gag order would work.
Donald Trump has that right, and it's...
Yeah, if he wants to fuck up his case and get his dumb ass thrown in jail, he can. I agree. I give this man enough rope to try and tie his shoes and cut off circulation to his feet.
Very frustrating when you see this judge who, from the outset, allowing cameras in the courtroom, which is, his prerogative, kind of did that 1980s sitcom thing where he looks down, does a double take, takes his glasses off, and then looks at the camera and smiles and looks at the crowd and shrugs it off like it's some kind of joke.
It is a joke. It's a civil trial around the even the idea that the Trump organization is an actual functional business is a fucking joke. The Apprentice was a joke. The Celebrity Apprentice was an embarrassing joke.
This is very serious because the American people's rights are very serious, and when they're trampled on, they deserve to be called out, whether that be by Donald Trump or anybody else, and they should have...
So yeah, you're right. So Donald Trump is trampling on the right of the judge's clerk to come and go from work without having to worry about getting killed, and he's trampling on that right. So he should shut the up. Right.
The right to do so and do under the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah, and you're right. And
yeah, it's so true.
Devin,
and also the Iraq.
ACLU was pretty clear in their filing. They said Trump retains a First Amendment right to speak. So even they believe that in the D.C. case, this is not New York, it's with Tanya Chutkan, that his rights are being violated. And
Chutkan?
He's the leading GOP candidate. I mean, this really...
Yeah, but that's it's like being the world's stinkiest fart.
Screams to the First Amendment rights for any American, but let alone a political
in a category of other never mind.
Candidate and a former president.
Yeah, I was quite frankly shocked that the ACLU actually came in and took this case up because
why they defend Nazis sometimes.
For a long time they've been quiet because President Trump, as Hogan said, has been mistreated for a very long time, dating back to his entire presidency.
Oh, he was so So he was mistreated the entire time he was president of the United States of America. And we're the snowflakes. Holy shit.
Where he had the whole apparatus of the government, let's not forget, spy on his campaign.
No, they didn't.
And him, the whole.
No, they were spying on Russians, and they were in contact with those Russians, therefore.
Mueller hoax, the Russia investigation that destroyed and took up so much
of his golf time, of his time that he could have been golfing, while he golfed more than any other president in history by a factor of 10.
American people's time, and I think really hurt Donald.
No, I was good. I got a lot of shit done. I was very functional. I mean, obviously, COVID came along, and a lot of us found a way to putter around the house more than usual.
Donald Trump's presidency, but more so specific to this case in New York. This case is totally ridiculous, and I think there's a lot of people out there who should be saying something. They should be standing up like the ACLU is right now, and that would include many business journals through.
Yeah, the Poughkeepsie Commerce Club, Moosehead Lodge number 79. They have a lovely zine they put out. The Oklahoma Cash and Crypto Miners Association, both of those guys.
Throughout the United States, people that are in business, you would think even
out of business, people who've lost businesses because of Trump's handling of COVID, people who died and before they could leave their business to anybody.
Banks and lawyers who do work for banks.
Businesses? Oh, for banks
and for financial services, the financial services sector.
Yeah, there is a bit of an issue with the fact that banks really don't want to have anything to do with this dumb fuck.
Members of Congress in the.
Oh, I see. In between clips, there's a green screen. In between clips. Is it on my main page? Okay, hold on. Back up here. Oh, I know what it is. Hold on. The trends, where is it? Oh, it's this guy. So during the trends one. Yeah, that's because I set the cat cam on the other thing. Thanks. Now we figured out the mystery. The problem is when I have that screen up, I'm looking at you guys, and the screen's up there, so I'm not even looking. Again, I'm running this by myself.
Senate, and here's why. This is not complicated.
It's super simple. Tell us how something is really just simple. It could all be over so quickly and handled so easily if people would just listen to someone as simple as Devin.
And Trump is being very mistreated right now.
Oh, no!
Because what
did you boo?
They're talking about here is loans that he got through a bank. Now, anytime you go to get a loan, whether it's a home loan or whether it's a business loan, there is a process in place that's, by the way, backed up through 200 years of state law in New York.
Yeah, but 200 years ago, or even 100 years ago, or even 80 years ago, there was not an influx of laundered Russian, Iranian, Chinese, and Saudi Arabian money coming in to control politicians in our country. And this is one of the last areas where the money can flow and nobody can spot it.
People have to follow, that the banks have to follow.
We know.
They have to go get.
Oh my God, it's the bank's fault. I mean, they lent him the money. I mean, hello, who's the idiot here?
An appraisal, for example. So financial statements are, quite frankly.
He attached forgeries to his financial statements from other companies that did not do positive appraisals of his properties. He lied, misled, and he went, you don't have to listen to me, listen to these fucking guys. Do your own due diligence. Oh, I've already done it for you. And this company, and Mazars, my accounting firm, who I lied to and dropped me because they don't trust me anymore, I attached their appraisal to my appraisal, and it all lines up.
Frankly, I mean, I'm sure Hogan's filled them out. I'm sure we all.
Also, by the way, if you lie on those kind of appraisals, on that kind of a scale, you're getting loans you don't deserve. And money is a zero-sum game. If you're getting money for a loan, someone else isn't. They don't have an infinite amount of money to loan out. So if you cheat your way to the fucking front of the line, then you knock people out who deserve the loan. That's the crime. Never mind the fact that he was, that inflating them to the banks and deflating them to the IRS is a crime and two separate crimes running at the same time and whatever. On its face, the fact that you were able to lie your way to the front of the line, other people didn't get to start businesses or buy buildings or develop properties or any of that shit because that money was spoken for by somebody who didn't deserve it.
Have filled them out
repeatedly.
Look, I may value
there's a disclaimer,
my house at
and
a
there's a
certain
disclaimer
price.
right on the front saying you have to go reevaluate this. This is not.
Yeah, but they attached fraudulent documents from other groups that did not evaluate these ways, and so they tried to pull a fast one. Don't believe me. Who do you trust, me or your lying eyes? Read their statement of my financial wealth. Well, I typed it up and I used their letterhead.
We're just putting this out there. There was a disclaimer on the front. I do want to get you out. We have some remaining time here.
Yeah, but he also lied to his accountants, and he lied to the other appraisers as well to manipulate them.
I just want to get your reaction to Michael Cohen and showing up there and saying Trump's this defeated man. And well, he didn't tell me to change the property rates. He just implied it here. It is stunning. It is stunning. But I guess Letitia James, this is her, star witness here.
No, it's not. Her star witness is the fucking paperwork. The paper that says, Donald Trump said it's 30,000 square feet, the apartment he lived in, and he got a loan based on it. But it's actually 11,000 square feet. That's the star witness.
Spoken to you.
It's a business civil trial, dumb fuck.
Yeah, the last time I was actually in New York at Newsmax, I was walking down the street and I saw.
Wait a minute, Newsmax's offices are in New York? How are they not on fire? I heard that crime is so rampant in New York, people are getting killed straight out on the street. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump apparently shot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue, and he didn't lose any supporters because nobody noticed because everybody was getting shot. It was just literally, he was like, nobody's paying attention. I just shot somebody, and I didn't lose any supporters because nobody even knows that I shot anybody.
Michael Cohen, I thought to myself, geez, what a clown this guy is. Obviously.
Well, I will say Michael's got his hair in order.
Convicted, problems with lying in the past. And so for him to have any
By the way, it's a shame that Roddy McDowell can't play him in the movie.
credibility with the legacy media right now is ridiculous. It just seems as if anyone wants to say something bad about Donald Trump, you've got a platform.
That's right. Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, become a Patreon. It's a great place where I can funnel all the things, the awful that you would like to say about Donald Trump. I'm glad to say it on your behalf. And I'll use big boy words to do it. Unlike a lot of these other namby-pambies who are afraid of getting a yellow dollar sign instead of a green in their monetization because I use naughty language. But quite frankly, it just proves that I believe what I'm saying.
Plenty of outlets that aren't really necessarily news, but are more opinion.
Like the one you're on?
Designed and dedicated to try and take down Donald Trump. And Michael Cohen just is the latest stooge.
Yeah, he's not that important, fuckhead. They're designed to in some cases, to take down, anybody that they differ with, the same way Fox is, I would suppose. But it's not like they went, we must build a media empire to destroy Donald Trump. He's just like a big gadfly.
To try and accomplish that. It's not going to happen. The American people can see through it.
Devin, I have 20 seconds. Final word to you.
Yeah, I think that Cohen is a product of the corrupt Department of Justice and this whole system that Donald Trump's been living through.
Michael Cohen is a product of Donald Trump.
The guy got beat up, beat the hell out of him. They finally broke him, and now the guy will do anything.
They broke him. Trump hung him out to dry.
And say anything because the guy, sadly, is kind of down on his luck. And so the fact that New York would try to use this guy is absolutely ridiculous, but not as ridiculous as this
as your smile.
Entire case, period.
Or literally just having the word truth in different colors behind you, hoping that solves it.
Well, we know former president not afraid to continue to fight and speak out.
He doesn't have a choice, dummy.
On the truth there, what he believes is happening behind those courtroom doors every single day. Devin Nunes.
What he believes is happening, he's watching it. What he knows is happening is he's losing.
Hogan, Gidley, great to have you both in. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks. Next time, can I be in studio and sit on your lap? Oh, wow. He's got Devin Nunes smile. All the boys think he's got dummy eyes. He's got a David Nunes smile. Huff. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I wish I could hear some accordion music like my dad used to play. Aw. All right, now, I'm getting low on time, but that's okay. We'll get through this. Hold on. This is okay. So Trump did this thing where he went to a non-union shop and had a bunch of people who weren't UAW workers stand outside and go, you know, like UAW for Trump, and they're not actually union members, right? So then he comes and he records this. This is President Trump's message to America's auto workers. It's longer than some of his others, 5 minutes. Agenda 47. I'm going to fix this so quickly.
What's happening to our auto workers is an absolute disgrace and an
Oh, they use disgrace right out of the gate.
outrage beyond belief.
Oh, it's an outrage. Outrageous. There we go. All right. That means he knows he's full of shit. Let's just be honest there. Okay, here we go.
Auto workers are getting totally ripped off by crooked Joe Biden and also their horrendous leadership, because these people are allowing our country to do these electric vehicles that very few people want.
They're allowing them to do these electric vehicles that very few people. I would like an electric car, by the way. I'm waiting for the right one. I was all ready to get the Cybertruck until Elon Musk showed himself to be such an asshole. And so I'm leaning another way. But I think, you know, there's also the possibility of a hydrogen vehicle next year. So, and my car's still running. I'm going to get one as soon as my car dies, but it still runs great. So,
And it's a mandate. So you'll ultimately
it's not a mandate.
be forced to drive in a car that goes for an hour and then you have to have it recharged. I hope you don't.
Jesus Christ, where does this asshole live? On the at the bottom of a roller coaster hill?
Don't want to go very far away. Biden
Yeah, the Rivians, made in Illinois. All right. I like them. They look
has
good.
imposed the outlandish requirement that 67% of all new vehicles must be electric in less than 10 years. That means Michigan and places that make cars, you can forget
You know, Michigan and other places that make cars. I don't know what they are, but
about it.
yeah, Trump's volume on this is low. This is their own little fucking thing. It's as loud as I can make. I'm going to see if I try
Got to
to
get your union working, because you can forget about it. Those cars are all going
Get
to be
your
made
union.
in China. According to the UAW president himself, one auto company CEO used the word brutality
Did he?
over 40 times in a single conversation to describe Joe Biden. I call him Crooked Joe because he's the most corrupt president in history. He's also the most incompetent.
So he's an incompetent crook, which means he's accidentally the good guy.
But Joe Biden's cruel and foolish electric vehicle mandate,
I call it cruelish.
that's how bad this policy is. Your union heads know it, but the union bosses don't want to do anything about it because they're not leaders. But you know who's voting for me? The people in the union.
No.
Yeah, the union heads and the Crooked Joe keep using the phrase fair transition. There's no fair transition. First of all, people don't want the electric car.
Yeah, they do.
And the ones that want it should get it. But we want to have all forms of transportation and
Yeah, but 60-40 seems reasonable in consumer commuter vehicles.
all forms of motorization.
Motorization. Thank God. Run that by me again, dipshit. What was that? All forms of motorization. That's good.
And the Crooked Joe keep using the phrase fair transition. There's no fair transition. First of
No,
all, people
it's
don't
unfair
want the
transition.
electric car. And the ones that want it should get it. But we want to have all forms of transportation and all forms of motorization to describe this unnecessary forced transition to electric vehicles. But there's no such
Understand that if we put this in black and white and made it all grainy and scratchy, this dickhead would be arguing about these horseless carriages that they're going to make us drive, and they're setting all these rules for why horses can't be on the street anymore.
thing is fair transition that destroys over 100,000 auto manufacturing jobs. It'll be much more than that.
Yeah, because I've met these people and they're too stupid. Electric cars are like computers, and these people are grease monkeys. They're dumb.
Waste tens of billions of dollars that should be going to the workers and makes new cars entirely unaffordable for the middle class. That's a transition to hell. You're going to hell.
Electric hell. It's like a Judas Priest record.
And your bosses are leading you right down the tubes. You shouldn't pay your fees.
So hell is somewhere in the tubes or at the end of the tube?
They get
which tube? Because if there are multiple tubes, I don't want to be accidentally in the one tube that's a dead end.
these big fees from all of their workers.
Dues. They're called dues, dum-dum. But please, go on about how you know unions.
And it doesn't matter how bad they are, they'll endorse a Democrat, even though the Democrat's selling you down the tubes.
They're selling you down the... I thought they were just going down the tubes anyways because of the... I guess somebody's got to pay somebody. But why would a communist sell something? Never mind.
Both the UAW bosses and the big three auto executives should be screaming at the top of their lungs. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Just should be screaming, I'm ashamed of myself, and just rending their garments and yeah.
Demanding that Joe Biden cancel his brutal electric vehicle mandate.
Oh, which doesn't exist.
Before it destroys the entire U.S. auto sector. If the union bosses and the CEOs...
Can you tell that this motherfucker is owned by the Saudis and wants to keep America on the oil tit as long as possible?
Refuse to fight back against crooked Joe Biden by forcing him to repeal this disastrous electric car scheme, then you will know they're not pro-worker, they're not on your side.
Because you're too stupid to assemble one of these.
They've got some deals going for themselves. And I'm telling you, you shouldn't pay those dues. You should not pay your dues because they're selling you to hell. You're going to be going to hell.
You're going to hell in the tubes. It's tube hell. It's down the tubes, somewhere in the tubes. There's a cul-de-sac that's like hell.
You're not going to have any jobs.
Well, I don't think so. No. In hell, one of the characteristics of hell is that you have a job but not a career.
All those cars are going to be made in China. Every one of them.
No, they're not.
You can forget it, Michigan. You can forget it, South Carolina. You can forget it, everybody.
Yeah, forget it, everybody. You guys are too stupid and incapable.
All of those cars are going to be made in China.
Which, by the way, he said the exact same thing about Japanese cars. And there's like Toyota plants in every red state. And Honda plants. And Hyundai plants.
Sit on liquid gold, and we're getting rid of combustion engines. And they sit on all of the other materials that you need for the batteries. They're going to make all those cars. We're not going to make any of them. So...
Yeah, American workers are just too dumb.
To every auto worker, I stand in total solidarity with you in your fight against Joe Biden's job-killing Green New Deal insanity. It's insanity.
It is insanity. It's crazy. It's green and it's new and it's a deal. And I know deals better than anybody who had a book ghostwritten for them.
When I am your president, I will deliver higher wages for auto workers. I will protect your jobs. I will end Joe Biden's catastrophic electric vehicle mandate. And by the way, if you want an electric car, you're going to get it.
Yeah, you're going to get it from China. They're going to be making lots of them in China. I'm going to make a deal in China. And China's going to send over all the electric cars. You can have 5 electric cars. They'll all be from China. And we'll be over here making fucking tractors.
But you're going to be able to get all other types of cars.
From China.
Types of vehicles that you want.
All of them? I want one that runs on unicorn farts and dreamy dreams. And I know Don Jr. wants a car that runs on kitten tears. I've heard that.
And on day one, you're going to be back in business with me, and those factories are going to start opening up again. Remember, when I got elected...
They're not closing down.
I told you all about this in the campaign.
Yeah, and nobody knew what the fuck you were talking about.
When I got elected, hardly a car company built outside of this country.
What?
I stopped it. They didn't go to Mexico anymore. I said...
What the shit is he talking about?
If you go to Mexico, I'm putting a big tariff. You'll make a car, you're going to have a 25% tariff if you send that car back into the United States. I stopped it. Well, right now, they're doing it again, worse than ever before. We lost 32% of our industry to Mexico prior to my getting there, and we lost almost nothing Nothing. In fact, we were taking back our industry.
No, we weren't. We were reshoring factories at the fastest clip in human history. None of that happened. Tell us about the fucking Carrier plant or Foxconn or the fucking air conditioner company.
But now it's going again. I'll straighten it out. But you have to vote for Trump. You have to vote for Trump. You can't listen to these union guys that get paid a lot of money and they get wined and dined in Washington.
He's jealous now. This is one of the, he's pulling a Dershowitz.
They know that electric cars are no good in terms of our workers.
Why?
So vote for Republicans, but vote for Trump. Because if we don't win this election, our country, not only in terms of...
Is going to hell or down the tubes? Down the tubes into hell? Going to tube hell!
Auto workers, our country will go to hell. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We will go to hell. You're in hell. It's hell now, and you will also be in hell. But like, there'd be a worse hell than the hell you're in now. And there's like layers of hell, like Dante talked about. He's this waiter that works at the McDonald's near Mar-a-Lago. He cooks up my fish delights extra crispy. Good Lord. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. We take the clips as they come, and that was his post. And that's really sad and hilarious. Now, I have to say, this next piece, I honestly, it's fairly short. It's very telling because this one, outrageous. I forgot to turn off the outrageous thing. Although this is outrageous. Jesse Waters has this clip, and it's entitled "Jesse Waters, the FBI was blackmailing Biden." That seems like a rather large story. That sentence, that's pretty direct. The FBI was blackmailing Biden. They're not still. They stopped. Okay, whatever. But let's go to that statement just by itself. The FBI was blackmailing Biden. One would think that a statement that extreme and that direct would fill more than 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Yeah. Like a big, that's a lot of story. I mean, he must be talking like a fucking auctioneer in this clip. Let's see.
Fox News,
it's an alert.
News alert. Everything Primetime has been saying about the FBI and the Biden family has just been confirmed.
Everything. That they the FBI infiltrated Jan 6 and were going against Trump. Now they're going against Biden. So the FBI is just anti-American president now. Is that?
For years, we've told you the FBI knew everything the Bidens were up to. The cash, the Chinese diamonds, American policy for sale. Not only was Biden blackmailing other countries.
He wasn't.
And other countries blackmailing him.
I think, okay, first of all, extorting other countries would be what you, in theory. The problem is when he was no longer in office, he had no power to extort anything from anywhere. So, yeah, anyways.
But the FBI was blackmailing Biden.
Very exciting. Okay, and they still are? Is that how they still exist? Like, that's why they got their new building?
Senator Chuck Grassley just announced that
that he's going to go down there and have a good whittle, and he'll be back up here in the morning with a little bluegill, and we'll fry them up and make some ladyfingers.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation had...
That's what FBI stands for. I thought it was the female body inspectors because he spent so much time on the beach. I just thought that's who he was talking about.
Has had 40 informants inside the Biden family for the last 15 years.
40 informants inside the Biden family. I guess it's a big Catholic family.
What does that mean?
That means you're insane?
It's exactly what you think.
No, it's not exactly what I think. I don't even know where to even... that there are that many people in the fucking family.
40 FBI informants. Going back to...
Posing as Bidens? What do they all get dressed up like one of the granddaughters and eat ice cream?
At the time Joe Biden was vice president, have been providing criminal information to FBI field offices throughout the country. 40 FBI informants have been feeding the Bureau exactly what Joe Biden, James Biden, and Hunter Biden have been doing all over the world.
40 of them, and still they got nothing.
Primetime isn't sure the FBI had this many informants working on the Trump campaign. So
maybe we're totally full of shit.
What does it mean that the FBI has had the Biden family wired? And what does it mean that the FBI hasn't done a thing? Well, it tells me that the FBI knows all of the president's dirty laundry and is blackmailing him.
To do what?
Because Senator Grassley also revealed that multiple FBI field offices tried to run this criminal information back to headquarters and
on behalf of Donald Trump
were blocked.
Because it was the same information. It wasn't original sourcing. It was they tried multiple ways to get the laptop introduced into evidence.
At every corner. This criminal activity.
Wait a minute. Are all the FBI offices on a corner? Certainly some of them must be mid-block.
It was shut down during the Trump impeachment, shut down before the last election, and it's still being shut down today. Grassley says FBI headquarters deliberately smeared criminal information coming from FBI informants about the Biden family.
By what? Mentioning who it was, and people go, oh, that person's full of shit.
As foreign disinformation, when in fact,
it was indeed foreign disinformation.
After an exhaustive examination, there's never been any information that any of this has been foreign.
Yes, there has. I'll gladly walk you through Rudy Giuliani's trips to Ukraine to meet with Russians who were trying to sock puppet that country and subvert it well before the war started, and who sold Rudy Giuliani what you call the Hunter Biden laptop in a hard drive form that he made multiple copies of, and still, even though it's posted online, has no smoking gun in it whatsoever.
Even the FBI informant that said the Bidens shook down Ukraine.
You mean Rudy Giuliani?
For a $10 million bribe?
You mean Rudy Giuliani?
That was vetted and found not to be foreign disinformation.
It wasn't found to be credible. There's no $10 million.
But it gets worse.
It can't get better.
The FBI's attempt to follow up on the $10 million Ukrainian Biden bribe was shut down. The FBI
by reality.
FBI informant who said there's 17 tapes of Biden talking about bribes, that too has been shut down.
What do you mean it's been? What are they supposed to open up? Where are they? Play one. Jesse Waters, you work for Fox News. They've got deep pockets. Fly to Europe, go find Zlochevsky and get the tapes. Find him. Play him. Well, we're waiting.
Despite that, there's no evidence that this is foreign disinformation.
There's no evidence that the tapes exist, fuckhead.
And while all of this is...
That's not the entire, FD 1023 or whatever that form was. There's no even proof that any of that is legit. It's Rudy Giuliani. Prove me different. And
what's going on?
Hold on one second. One moment. Someone is fidgeting at my door. Hi. Can I help you? Hello. Hello, buddy. Come here. People want to see you. Who are you? Who are you, young man? Are you picking at my door? Are you picking up my door? I missed you too. I did miss you, buddy. How are you? You're a harbor seal. That's what you are. You should be laying on a buoy in the middle of the bay. Sitting with the chip of the bay. Watching my belly go away. Mwah. Everybody, Chip, everybody. Chip missed me. He came up, heard, and got food this morning, and then after I fed him, he came back and did the exact same thing. He's like, he's been gone. Maybe if I just reenact how I get up in the morning, he'll cat hair. He'll feed me again. Didn't ya, buddy? Didn't ya, buddy? Dinner boo. What's your body do? What's your body do? Don't even think about walking upstairs, young man. Don't even think about it. Come here. Come here. What are you doing? What are you doing? The balcony. No, getting some love. We haven't seen you in a long time. Long time. All right, more kisses. Mwah, 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 mwah. Yeah, boys. Mwah. All right, now I'll get you. I fed you before the show, so you could leave me alone while I did it, young man. Meanwhile, I'm gonna finish the last bit of this show. Excuse me, we needed a cat break. I'm sorry, we haven't had one in a while. All right, back to this idiot. Oh, two idiots.
The FBI has been actively planting information against Donald Trump.
And blackmailing Joe Biden. So apparently, if the FBI are the bad guys, then Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the good guys. If the FBI are the good guys, then Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the bad guys. I don't know what the fuck we're supposed to draw from this, except that Jesse Waters can't read.
Doctoring emails and disseminating fake dossiers.
The FBI didn't disseminate the fucking dossier. That fucking like BuzzFeed released
The
it.
FBI used Biden to get revenge on Trump.
Oh, I see.
They got a
for what exactly?
dirty politician elected so they could defeat a politician who caught them trying to frame him and fired their director.
Why would they have to blackmail Biden to do that?
And now we have a compromised president in the White House.
Compromised by what? By the FBI that he agrees with?
Being protected by a rogue gang of sick agents.
This is super weird.
And the American people are the real victims of this.
No, I'm okay. I think you might be having distress though. If you're smelling burnt toast, release one of your forehead caterpillars and make it recite Ben Shapiro's the song lyrics he did on his bar mitzvah.
Stupid inside game. You're paying more for everything. The border's wide open and crime.
No, it isn't.
Crime is sky high.
No, it's coming down.
And we have two proxy wars that Biden can't manage.
They're also not proxy wars. We're not. By the way, look. People's feelings about the Ukraine war being a proxy war, a U.S. proxy war against Russia, would make more sense if we forced Ukraine to attack into the Donbass and Crimea to take back that land instead of Russia attacking further into Ukraine. So if there's a proxy war, then Russia declared war on the United States and is using Ukraine as a proxy to do it. They're just failing. Secondly, do we need a proxy war with Hamas? Do we need to gin up something in Israel? So is the idea that Jesse Waters is floating that both the United States and Israel allowed those citizens to be raped and murdered and slaughtered and hacked to pieces and abducted so that we could jumpstart a proxy war over the Gaza fucking Strip like we give a shit?
Because the FBI believes it's more powerful than democracy.
Gibberish. This is so odd.
I went on Brian Kill.
Yeah, Brian, thank God. Congratulations, Brian. It's the first time in your life where you've actually appeared on the scene and people thought, thank God, a mild respite from the amount of stupid we've been watching. It's the only time Brian Kilmeade was made to look smarter by the circumstance. Holy shit. I honestly don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I really, and such, like I said, with a big charge like that, you'd think there'd be graphics up there like, here's the 40 of these guys. I'll look into the greater story of this because there's nothing in the description about it and see if I can find anything that predicates on whatever this is. But it sounds like to me that Trump just had operatives go around to 40 field offices and try to drop off copies of the fucking hard drive. That's what it sounds like. And they were all like, we can't take this shit. You're a fucking political operative. We're not just taking fucking, fake info that some asshole's just dropping off everywhere. He planted the seed. Maybe that's what it's for. And they'll just, I guarantee somebody will run into someone that will parrot these. They had 40 people inside the Biden family as fucking informants more than they had in the Gaudis. Like, hey, the amount of stupid today was pretty fucking stunning, I have to say. Like, I'm kind of shocked at maybe it's just phone it in week over on the Republican side because the speaker fight was so embarrassing. Yeah. So, but insofar, what we've ultimately come to is that nobody knows who the fuck Mike Johnson is and doesn't care to figure out because he might as well be McCarthy, but he's not. And that the Biden family has FBI informants in it that are making him do things that he would do anyways towards Trump. Fucking hell. Just wiffle ball. That said, I'm going to go get some sleep because I've been awake for a long time, and I'm just proud of myself for getting through this whole show without yawning like Glenn Beck. Very proud of myself. Even when I fake yawned, I was like, I'm going to trigger a real yawn if I'm not careful. When I fake yawn, does anybody yawn in chat room? Let me know. If I ever do that, I don't mean to, but I have a feeling at least somebody's going to go if I do it. Right? Yeah. Anyways, where did Jesse get this nonsense? I have no idea. I'll look it up, though. I will do the due diligence. You know me. I will look it up. I'll try to figure this shit out. Yes, you going? Okay. Anyways, love you guys. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Gabe Sanchez is on the first hour with me as a guest on Friday AI, which is very exciting. And then the second hour we will do with just the advances in AI and stuff that's been happening and the trends that are going on in the news, you know, what's going on. And also we'll all follow this awful mass shooter thing happening in Maine. Hopefully they'll wrap this person up. Again, this all ties back to the fact that Republicans loosened the rules on the mentally ill having guns. This guy should have, red flag laws should have taken this guy's guns away, period, end of story. And they can't even allow that to happen. So anyways, tomorrow, Gabe Sanchez, we'll talk about a bunch of these things. Take care of yourself. Take care of somebody else. Thank you so much, A Buck for Luck. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing. Don't forget, you can Venmo and you can Cash App, and you can also become a Patreon subscriber. Patreon.com/HalSparks. All right.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great...